Joining me now is Congressman Mike Honda, who represents District 17 in Silicon Valley. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you.
You're running for a 9th term in Congress.
Yes.
What would you say from where you sit? What is the biggest challenge today facing Silicon Valley?
I think in Silicon Valley, the two big areas is the inequity in salaries for service workers, and I think the other is housing. Housing is such a big issue in our district.
And are those issues that you, as a Congress member, can do something about?
Well, there are roles that we can play. For instance, working with HUD, I had Joaquin Castro come down for an extra day to visit our homeless projects to show that there are a variety of ways to address the homelessness of not only veterans, but also those others who are in the streets. And but I wanted to give him also a document I put together. It's called the Inventory of Surplus and Underutilized Lands, to look at that as a possible way of building homes.
But you also represent, of course, some of the biggest names in the tech industry. Surely. Apple, Facebook, Google is around there as well. You represent the innovation economy, and yet I hear you saying that your biggest concerns are really sort of low-income folks. Is that going to make the tech industry feel a little bit left out?
I don't think so, because the tech industry is one of the leaders in looking at issues around housing and the inequitable salaries and everything else like that. And they've led the way to increase salaries of their own staff. And also Silicon Valley Leadership Group has put together a housing trust fund where they're pulling together funds, and I put some federal monies in there to help people, first-time buyers and down payments. So everybody's working together on that.
It's a district where some say that the future is invented. It's in the tomorrow business.
Sure.
When you think about all the emerging technology coming out of your district in Silicon Valley, generally, what excites you?
I think the possibility of being able to communicate with anybody globally and in a very fraction of a second. I guess the idea is the collapsing of time and distance allows us to be very efficient.
What about things like driverless cars and robotics that are replacing people?
Well, I think that's the future, and people never thought that we'd replace the horse, but we did that.
So that's just part
I think
of technology.
It's the next step in how we increase the confidence and the reliability of driverless cars. That's going to be the issue.
So you're running a very contentious race with your challenger, Ro Khanna, and both of you have been running television ads. And I want to take a look at one of your ads from your campaign. We'll come back and talk about it. Let's take a look.
Sure.
With a history of shutting down companies and destroying jobs,
I gotta take this.
no wonder Khanna's answered their call for tax breaks for millionaires,
Yo.
outsourcing jobs overseas,
Let me see what I can do.
while refusing to protect Social Security. Corporate interests get enough face time in Washington. We don't need Ro Khanna dialing it up.
Congressman, that ad portrays Ro Khanna as being unethical, beholden to Wall Street. Is that what you believe?
Well, it's a fact that he's received over $450,000 from Wall Street.
When you say Wall Street, do you mean
Wall Street, people who are involved with the financial aspects of this country. People that, normal people like myself don't usually access in terms of, or don't seek help from them. And to say that he's one of the folks, but portrays himself one way, he is not really forthcoming in the kinds of income that he really does.
What about the portrayal in that ad? There's an Indian-looking actor playing Ro Khanna in the backseat of that limousine. Did you have any qualms about that as someone who has faced discrimination in your own past?
Sure. I think that the last time he accused me of being racist because he said that there was a red dot on his picture. I didn't have anything to do with that, but this one, I'll take full responsibility for it. It's
any regrets about it, or?
No, I think that that's depicting someone like himself taking money from wherever he can.
Yeah.
And this is the idea is that he's taking money from Wall Street, and he's saying that he's the people's people.
In one of his ads, your opponent, Ro Khanna, alleges that you, in all your time in Congress, passed one bill, and that was to name a post office. Is that a fair charge, and what's your reaction?
Well, I did have one bill that changed the name of post office to Gordon Chan, and I'm proud of that. But the thing about Congress is that it's not only about having your name on a bill.
Is that an accurate characterization, though, that you have your name on just one bill?
That part is accurate, but what we do as congressional members is a lot of other things too. And we work on different projects, different bills, and we get those things done. So with the results that I've had over the past 16 years, I brought in almost $1 billion worth of revenue and all kinds of other kinds of programs that affect education, nonprofits, Silicon Valley.
You're facing your own investigation and questions about ethics. The House Ethics Committee is investigating. They voted unanimously to investigate, and there are questions about you giving favors to high donors for things like expediting visas and that sort of thing. What's your reaction? I mean, isn't that the kind of thing that you're sort of accusing him about, of favoring the rich?
Well, it's the ethics issue is one of House rules, whether we had violated House rules. In order to address that, I did two things. One, to let the people know that I made a decision that nobody on our official staff will be participating.
But there was
in
the conclusion of the report found that there was substantial reason to think that you'd done.
Right. The conclusion report passed it on to the House Congressional Ethics Committee, which is the real committee that really takes all the information, and they're moving through it right now. So we're cooperating with them 100%, and we're not saying that we're just waiting for the outcome.
All right.
The charge I have against my own opponent, he behaves differently.
All right, and we're going to get a chance to talk with Ro Khanna next, but thank you very much for coming in.